they've had to build counters to this. They've had to look deep into the game, look deep into the factions, and figure out what to do. And I'm really keen. I'm really keen to see this. How long have we got to go?
Really optimistic. Barely anything. Talking of radars, we got something emerging on our radar right now. We need to scramble because the first game of the World Championships is upon us. Hello there, and welcome. And these aren't any old pioneers. These are the pioneers of the most winningest, yes, that is a word, winningest champion in Company of Heroes competitive history. This is Luvnest's pioneers. He is the Wehrmacht. He is locking in German infantry doctrine on the east side of Nexus. He is the reigning champion of the World Championships, and here he is again for you this time in 2020.
That's right, and he's going to be playing on the west side of Nexus against Elpern, a player who recently defeated Luvnest in the Master League tournament. And I think everybody is looking at this game today and thinking, is Elpern possibly going to make a repeat performance and knock out one of the game's biggest contenders in the first series? Elpern, of course, straight away with Recon Support Company. And we were really hoping that this game could be a little bit different in terms of the meta, but as soon as we started, I saw Luvnest pick German infantry doctrine.
Yeah, indeed.
He had encirclement doctrine there, and I was so hoping.
To be honest, I hate to be an elitist, but I'm not actually that bothered as long as we get some level of variety. So this isn't mechanized. This is Recon Support Company. I'm more bothered about the tale of the players epically competing for $20,000. Back in Company Heroes 1, which is where I cut my teeth, for want of a better phrase. It was always about infantry versus terror. Maybe you got a little bit of airborne now and again. And to be honest, I'm just absolutely in love with these early game struggles when they're just, let's turn Fog of War on and get an idea for how the battle is going to erupt and how they're going to position themselves in this early game. Because Nexus is very much north-south. How have they chosen so far now?
Well, I just want to point out, actually, Luvnest is just going, I think, both directions here. And in the north, he had an MG42 set up, I think, to catch Elpern going for the northern fuel. He wasted so much time doing that because Elpern just went straight for the south. He's gone straight to just try and deny the fuel on that side. And he is winning the early game, timings, just making sure he's got all those extra resources. So I think Elpern, very strong early game here.
Yes, indeed. And the first fatality was the Pioneer that started the tournament off. So that's a sign of things to come. We're going to have a lot of unfortunate death and mishap to come. 3 Grenadier build from Luvnest, of course, going with the G43s and veterans later on. But we do have this INR Pathfinder, Dan. Let's tell us what you know about how to utilize these bad boys.
Well, I mean, obviously, one of the best things for these is to maybe drop your reinforcement points and just get a little bit of sneaky vision occasionally. The sight range on these is fantastic. I am hoping that we're going to see a machine gun in this game, which I think actually would be really helpful to have the Pathfinders there to spot for it, make sure you're getting all that position correct. And it is important when you've got those 5-man Grens running around to have those spotter units in. But also he's going to be able to detect that MG42 position from Luvnest. He's going to be able to flank it hard with the riflemen. And
yes.
As I say that, Elpern
has got an excellent flank off. This MG is caught out right now, and Elpern has forced it away in full. Grenadiers, meanwhile, were trying to protect the flank, but they couldn't do so. And Elpern is going to be in the ascendancy. Luvnest is going to have to hold this, lest he lose his cutoff.
Yeah, this is nice.
Good use of the tank traps actually set by Elpern. Luvnest repositioning now. His Grenadiers are a very strong fighting force. 50 cal is on its way from Elpern indeed. And there he goes. He is going to try and go for the cutoff. This could be the first fuel denial of the game thus far.
We are losing a sector.
I really like that. Actually, we just saw Luvnest use a rifle grenade there. I think he was expecting the rifleman to still be hiding behind green cover.
The territory is out of contact.
You know, a bit of a gamble there, but you know what? Actually, this is not a great start for Luvnest. This is really, really promising from Elpern. It's so good to see a player go up against like such a dominant player like Luvnest and go into this game one with confidence. Also, with the IR Pathfinders, you know, one of the things we didn't talk about is later on in the game we're going to be able to see them drop in off-map artillery. You know, it's going to make things hard for Luvnest. Fortunately, it's an open map, so he can be mobile with his grenadiers. But we all know that USF typically has more squads on the
low
field.
to interrupt there. Sorry, Dan. The lieutenant managed to cut them off with those grease guns firing, and they are forced away. Luvnest has a lot of low health grenadiers right now. His MG is repositioning down south. He did lose his fuel for a while, but he's still been able to get the 2-2-2 out. So he'll have a momentary power spike. And Dan, I'd have to say, round one to Elpern, especially on the judges' scorecards, he got some good moves off there. Luvnest fought back, and he's certainly he's not out of the early game by any stretch of the imagination, but good first blood to Elpern, I would say, just about.
Yeah, just want to point out Talamine, by the way, on the northern fuel, just to the right-hand side of the fence that's south of the fuel point. The pioneers are still there now.
Nice.
So Luvnest is preparing for the Stuart to come out. And it looks like he's probably going to be trying to bait him on that side with his newly produced scout car.
Grenadiers lie in wait. They're going to let the scout car do most of the work, and they're there. Indeed, see, he spots for it. Hopes that they're going to go in the building, and he's got them punished from multiple angles there. The riflemen were outplayed very much so by Luvnest, just using the excellent reconnaissance that the 222 allows for. Meanwhile, in the north, however, Elpern operating at max capacity right now. He's capping up the north side of the map whilst all of this is going on.
I actually think this is a shame. You can see the minesweepers there from the echelons. Luvnest is going to have to deal with that really quickly, otherwise the telemine, which is already in a bad place now, is going to be diffused. Stuart is in the build from Elpern currently, and you know, let's not forget as well, Elpern, who's already doing very well in map control, part of recon support, gives you raid tactics, so he's going to be able to cap with the Stuart. He's going to be able to cap, you know, with his infantry very fast. Luvnest is going to have to keep on top of that.
Set up a beacon as well to give him better reconnaissance as Elpern. 222's going to bully them away. No rifleman with any anti-tank grenades right now. He's got most of his kills on his INR Pathfinders, actually. But it all doesn't matter because the Stuart's here and the time of infantry is already over 7 minutes into the game. We're now entering light tank meta city.
The Talamine did get scouted, and also there's an M7 anti-tank mine just laid by the rear echelons. I think in case the scout car decides to dive a bit. I'm not sure though that Elpern actually saw it. He would have had to really been paying attention on the edge of his vision then. So perhaps there's still an opportunity for that. By the way, south side, you've seen a deep flanking from Elpern here to get around the MG42.
Lovely stuff. This is what Nexus is all about. MG doesn't actually know about it quite yet. He's going to emerge. Let's see how fast Luvnest can react to this. Oh my god! That is godly. There's no wonder he's won 2 world championships and like 5 major tournaments. That was ridiculous. 222's already in town.
I'm not 100% sure if that was intentional, because the MG42 wasn't set up already, so I don't know, did he...
The game sense that man has done, honestly, it makes him look godly. He might not have had to have seen it to have a feeling where... Okay, he has 3 squads on the field. Where's the 4th? Where's the 4th? Oh, I know where the 4th will be. He's that good, quite frankly.
Yeah, actually, knowing Luvnest, I would say it's probably a decision more than anything else.
Rifleman in the broken down factory here, 222 peppering them. The scout car seems to have been hit at least once, possibly by the Pack 40.
Ambulance ready for action.
Beautiful. Luvnest, he's flanking through the centre with the grenadiers. He actually manages to get long range on the HMG, which means that is down. The scout car's now coming in to try to finish it off. This is a really good push.
Elpern gets out of there though. He evades the rifle nade. And Luvnest's time is now. He's used the synergy of his Wehrmacht units to create this excellent army that, quite frankly, has battered Elpern into submission. He's back in base, entirely done. Like, literally, he is in base. That's where he exists now. If you check the attack map, Elpern's nowhere else.
No, this is interesting. I mean, actually, you can see he's just upgraded to bars. He upgraded with the weapons rack. He only just got the ambulance out as well, so he hasn't been deploying onto the field with full healing every time he's come back from the base, which I think has allowed Luvnest to just win the engagements at range. And look at the map control that Luvnest has got.
Somebody made an excellent point in chat. Obviously, Luvnest is a famous TAC map spammer, as they would call it in chat, but user is probably a more official term. And it does allow him sometimes to notice things on the edge of his unit sightlines that other players would not see. That's just another point we have to take into consideration. MVP unit has to be so far done. Maybe the Iron Ore Pathfinders, 5 kills for Elpern. I think Luvnest doesn't have any standouts, does he? He's just playing well with everything.
That is true, yeah. I mean, well, actually watching a little bit with the Fog of War, the scout car has been everywhere, and it is providing good vision. I think it's actually allowing Luvnest to know where every attack is coming from and prepare for it in one way or another. Both the AT gun and the scout car, watch them work together. You know, the scout car detects, the AT gun moves, and the AT gun's moving at the length of the map, back and forth.
Just to celebrate Stormless's point, the scout car achieved Veteran C1. The Stuarts pushing in, however. Panzer Grenadier is a very costly unit to lose into the module block. There we go, nice shot by the Pack 40. The Stuarts going to have to back out. Will the Pack 40 try and get an overshot in with the attack rounds? Well, if he tries, he'll probably miss by now. Meanwhile, we'll have to check out this engagement in the south. Stormless, what do you see?
Yep, Grenadiers, they're in cover, so they're not going to take suppression from the HMG. Oh, actually, one model just on the outside of the cover. And that's always one of these things in Company of Heroes you've got to be so careful about, because just one model in the wrong position can give suppression to everyone. Luvnest just falling on the foul side of that.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
It'd be a terrible conversation to have happen. It's like, yeah, guys, we're behind cover, we're fine, and then your mate just says, no, I'm suppressed. We're suppressed. It's like, okay, we'll all lie down then. Fair enough. Luvnest has battled forth and got in the factory. He pushes on. He's had double fuel for a good time now, but also don't forget the standard territory point control is rather high for Luvnest. He's indeed gotten battle phase 2 already, meaning that a Panzer IV will be with us in probably under 2 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, and this is perfect because now with the lead that he's had in resources and the double fuel that he's had for a while and is about to get now, he's going to be able to rush tier 3 and have a huge window of opportunity. USF, of course, they really want to get like that Sherman out roughly at the same time as his Panzer IV. That isn't going to happen. So Elpern here at the moment, actually perhaps feel a little bad for him. He's still trying to play spread out across the map, but that isn't going to work against Luvnest. He has it locked down. I think actually we need to just see him hammer through the front lines and you know, really cause some damage. Look at that south flanking, by the way.
Yeah, I'm on it. Meanwhile, in the north, we've got 222 versus Iron Ore Pathfinders forcing them away. MG was forced away this time. Elpern was able to get it off. The tree saved his life. Keeping the victory point control situation stable. He's not lost that many thus far. And it's all about, of course, surviving that mid-game power spike of the Wehrmacht. And to be honest, it's only going to get spikier, because the Wehrmacht Hedgehog is about to grow a very Panzer IV-esque spine.
I just want to point out some of the nuances of this game at the moment. We do have obviously the rear echelons and minesweepers. They do have double bazookas on them right now, so they're also serving as a mobile AT platform for Elpern. And I think we're just now starting to see a lot of the US troops become upgraded. Bars pretty much over everything.
Elpern knows he's in a weak position, Dan. He knows the Panzer IV's coming, so he's gone captain to get the M180 even out. Wise decision. Rear echelons were forced away. The lieutenant's trying to keep the victory point. Meanwhile, he has the central victory point thanks to those double tank traps. He's just biding time. He's betting that... Well, he clearly thinks that Luvnest has his number on Nexus as Wehrmacht, so he's just biding his time. They're trying to make it to that mid to late game where he can get a Sherman out and start to push things into his agenda.
It's quite worrying, though. I think this shows a sign that you know, Elpern's in trouble here. I think this is the last thing you want. I think you want a mobile tank platform to push with. Now, obviously, he's spent a lot of fuel doing that. Spend 120 fuel on the Major, and he's got to wait like another 100 something for the Sherman. I mean, it's just like this is going to be a long game for him. He's not getting the resources in to tell us that a tank is coming in for Elpern in this game. He has a lot of work to do in this AT.
Certainly does. And look at this from Luvnest, playing it extra safe, just wanting to keep his advantage, get a second pack 40. He has enough anti-infantry with the triple 5-man Grenadier, Panzer Grenadier, and of course the 222, that's now veteran C2. And look, he's considering capping this northernmost standard territory point, one of the most forgotten points of any map in the game, and he's capping it right now, which exerts dominance upon Elpern.
Absolutely. And actually, just to the right of the munitions point for Elpern, actually where the Grenadiers are standing right now, Luvnest just managed to get another telemine on that road.
Oh, I see it.
And of course, you know those vehicles are going to be taking the roads. It's the path of least resistance.
Oh,
so
he just got a great shot on Stewart by accident, one of those famous overshots.
lovely.
Maybe he heard it on his headset. Maybe he'd not give Luvnest all the credit in the world, but certainly a good shot. Another way he could have gotten back into this, I know we like to do some backseat gaming now and against almost, of course, like Pack Howitzer is just one option some players utilise, notably Orange Pest and a few other players around Elpern's sort of level.
I mean, if he can bank up the manpower, perhaps, but I think he's struggling right now because he's up against tanks. He's only got infantry. And, you know, he's dealing with Luvnest's Grenadiers.
Grenadiers low, though. Can the brand new automatics get the kill? No, the 222 gives him just enough space to get past and survive.
Unfortunately, he missed out on the snare there. I think he's going for the scout car here. No.
Oh, he gets it, yeah. Nice bazooka shot there. Where's the M1AT gun, though? He's way out of position, unfortunately. Too scared of all the Grenadiers marauding in the centre of the map. And he has every right to be
Crowds are
scared.
taking one of our points.
I think you're right, Stormless. Luvnest in a huge mega tournament is a different kind of player, and his training has been off the scale. Some of the stuff he's been doing in scrims and auto matching this last week, he suddenly seems to like wake up. He's no longer just casual auto match Luvnest, getting beaten by mid ranks and other players. He just becomes that double world champion Luvnest.
Yeah, and the other thing, you know, you always see from Luvnest is he likes to go into auto match and play something that he is not intending to play in the tournament. So anyone watching maybe gets the right idea as well.
Running one of our capture points.
I think it's always beautiful. We always look to Luvnest kind of like how to play this game. He's just consistently the person that defines metas and shows us counters. It's beautiful.
Yes.
But Elpern is still giving this a good go. And
A capture point
Just
is
as he
under
gets hit
waiting.
by that rifle nade. The barrels don't cause flame damage, but they certainly make it look cool. And the rifles are still alive somewhat. But indeed, he is one of those all-time favourite players, and he's one of those kind of things where, you know, if there were we had bookies or, you know, betting companies putting odds on tournaments, Luvnest would be really short odds. And then you'd have, like, people that don't really follow the tournaments be like, why is he such short odds? I just saw him lose to expensive runner in auto match or something. Yeah, but that wasn't tournament Luvnest. There's gears in this game. There's levels, quite frankly. Like any top-level competitive game, there's when you see the players go through those gears and hit those high levels, it's a different thing altogether. And that's a little bit of what we're seeing right now.
by the way, I mean, just check out the vision from the Pathfinders at the moment. Spotting for the M1AT gun from the USF. And now actually seeing, look at this, the bazookas go in from the rear echelons, the Stuart's there to chase. They're so useful. This is like such a great unit for recon. And
They are.
used perfectly.
Of course, Veteran C3 actually giving a bit greater accuracy and range, but the artillery abilities are really cool and nifty to get off, I always find.
Absolutely. By the way, Elpern is playing fantastically here, given the position that he's been in for a lot of the game. He's focusing on VPs right now. He doesn't want to give that huge lead to Luvnest, and he decapped VPs in the north. Luvnest has nothing up there, so that is at least going to stabilize, or at least stem the bleeding of the VPs for a while, allow him to build up that fuel he needs.
But he very much is in triage almost. When the analogies we're using for him are stem and you know, apply a tourniquet. It's not going overly well, but he's doing well to survive right now. Rifle grenade comes in, exchanges grenades actually. Grenadiers get out of there, and he's battling hard to get this fuel and decap it from Luvnest, getting doubled. Meanwhile, by the way, in the north, that 222 is now up to 13 kills. When that thing gets Veterancy 3, it'll be much more difficult to kill as well.
Major is just about to finish tech for Elpern and 80 fuel at the moment. He's somehow managing to make this work. Question is, what is his choice here? I mean...
Oh, we just saw an epic squad wipe there, and he gets the Browning from the Panzer Grenadier. Now the Rifleman, Veterancy 3 under peril. Stuart finally comes to mitigate after being repaired, but I think that may have been the first true squad wipe of the game, so good survivability by both players thus far, but Luvnest certainly flexing.
Absolutely.
Saw somebody in chat just write the word incredible. I'm sure that's because I used the word incredible, and it probably wasn't. But we're casters, god damn it! If somebody's going to exaggerate and use adjectives,
Stuart.
oh,
I'm waiting
yes,
for it.
indeed.
I'm waiting for it. He hasn't seen it yet. His echelons are now coming over to that place, so any second. There it is. It is now revealed.
Oh,
Elpern
he's
maybe
trying.
wiping the sweat from his brow right now. Scary.
That is close. Tell you what, if that Stuart goes down, or anything really, it could be the cord that pulls the house down for Elpern. He's got a house of cards on a ship at the moment. Very shaky indeed.
By the way, just look at the resources that Luvnest is banking here. Now, I mean, given how the game is gone, would you have not capitalized on tier 3, given that the opponent had nothing?
He's gone for a
I mean,
Panther. He's gone for a
Yeah.
Panther. But
I mean, Elpern has no fuel.
I see what you're saying, but you can't really argue with results. I don't disagree, but it's one of those things where you're right and you're also wrong because Luvnest is currently smashing it. So it's like, theoretically, yes, but let's throw our textbooks out of the window for a second because the results are certainly showing for Luvnest.
Stuart may go down here. One more shot. Fortunate to get it out of there. Oh, wow. Seriously? I think the scout car just detonated the telemine, taking 3 echelons with
Oh,
it.
I see the bodies. I see the bodies.
That was careless from Elpern. Well capitalized on. Elpern's going for a Sherman.
Yeah, that's why
terrible
I'm cringing right now. This is a hard counter from Luvnest. He's not doubled down in tier 3. He's gone for tier 4, and it's turned into a very, very hard counter indeed, because as the Panzerkampfwagen 5 enters the field, that beautiful camouflage, we see a lowly Sherman under construction for Elpern. Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, he's got cluster bombs.
Maybe he can back tech to M8s and get 6 of them. M1's been decrewed. And we've had one of the modified anti-tank mines go off for the Panzer IV. Stuart's in peril though. The Panzer IV's like an angry glacier. Takes out the M1. Panther's come into the picture. The Sherman is not changed into a last-minute Jackson. It does come onto the field like an unwanted visitor at Christmas when you had a long day. Just wasn't. Go home, Uncle Sherman.
I mean, there's so much pressure right now on the rear echelons to use the bazookas here. Really, it's
Oh, I'll tell you what,
to
though, the
see-
Panzer IV could go down. He's backing away, however, the Sherman misses and gets the Panzer Grenadiers instead, which is not a bad choice, but the Panzer IV surviving there is unfortunate for Elpern. That could have helped him stabilise.
Well, let me just say, I mean, actually, what Elpern's doing here is the best thing he could possibly be doing right now. He's upgraded to Bazooka with a Lieutenant. He's going to be reinforcing the Echelon squad. They only need extra bit of veterans as well. Be a 5-man squad to be a bit more effective. So the Sherman could still work here as a support. But I think actually we need to see abilities used from the Stuart. You know, those tanks need to be disabled and flanked. It's going to be hard work.
Hey, tell you what, if we can get this Grenadier, that'd be a nice pickup. Can the Boars do it? Can they do it? One last slither of pixels of health and they're dissipated. Nice work there. However, the Stuart gets taken out by a huge salvo from the back 40s.
That's unfortunate. Trying to jump on top of the AT guns. Luvnest just
Opponents are seizing the
able to hold it with the scout car. The scout car's vet 3 now, which is really, really huge. They can tell pretty much wherever the flanking is coming from now.
Vision it has
in the south.
is crazy. It's basically we should ban Luvnest for cheating at this point because a vet 3-2-2-2 pretty much is that.
This is so tragic in the south VP. This captain has been there for a long time and was not capping the point. Elpern's just seen that. Now, Elpern has a long way to go here, but he is actually trying to get a triple cap over Luvnest right now.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's good for best of 3 situations to try and get your opponent down by as many victory points as possible, even if they are going to win. So they win by a smaller margin. It'll help on that 3rd game deciding ace situation.
I've got to say, if you just bring up the tactical map for a second and you look at the composition of both armies, I don't get the feeling that Elpern is out of this game just yet. I don't get that feeling.
No. Show me a Jackson, and show me some maybe a little bit of indirect fire, and I'd be inclined to agree. You just need something that's a little bit more 3-dimensional right now, in my opinion. Something that goes up and then comes down again. And people might think I'm an idiot, but if just a little bit of smoke to add to the chaos, it's really helpful if you're on the if you're it's a disadvantaged position.
I just think you say something that goes up and then down again, and then smoke. Are you talking about a mortar? Is that the answer to this?
No, not as such. It is indeed a mortar, yes. For those people that didn't get what I meant by up and down again. Rear echelons are surprisingly gained veterans too, and they're still alive. They're certainly better than most people's rear echelons.
So we may see from the Sherman, by the way. The Sherman can also pop smoke, which would be immensely useful. I'm also hoping we see like munitions banks, and we can see some of the decoy barrages from infrared pathfinders. They constantly want to get rid of that MG42 position, rushing with those riflemen. But right now, I think the threat is that looming panther that just keeps poking its turret around.
It's like an angry shark that fires shells at high velocity on tracks made of 54 tons of Kruppstahl. It's not like a shark at all. It is indeed a panther tank. But it kind of emerges and just laps you, forcing you away. The fragmentation bomb takes out the logistics network of Elpern. He's not going to have any deliveries for a while. He's going to have to use an Amazon locker, most likely.
You can see how desperate Elpern is for the VPs. Right
Ooh,
now.
what a
Oh,
fight!
nice line.
18 goes, the line goes off rather, and indeed the lieutenant sprints forward with that bazooka. How many shots does he need? Does he even get one? Fences
Look at
OP.
that line of sight cover. That was
Oh,
incredible. That
Look at the
was
speed on that thing. He's sprinting, but he's not fast enough, and that is unfortunate.
Wow, Jimmy, that's super fly.
It's like evolution, wasn't it? It's like almost the prey's getting faster as the predator speeds up. Bazookas do penetrate the panther finally on their 50th attempt.
Enemy has broken our supply lines.
Really see.
Prioritized vehicle and kills the 222. F in chat for that Vet 3 hero.
By the way, check out the MG42 position. We actually just saw a decoy barrage. Luvnest, I don't know if he fell for it or not. But it really shook things up a bit.
I think he just carried on firing incendiary rounds and then did a casual... Oh, we just saw a squad wipe in the house there. Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh no, it was the Pathfinders.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so tragic. You know, on the retreat as well, actually, Panzer Grenadiers with the bar.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Panzer Grenadiers are in peril now, though, however. Vet 3 riflemen on the retreat path. Oh, and the Sherman helps out. There's a nice nade, but it does nothing. The Panzer IV changed the algorithm of the retreat path, and he went north of where he was expecting to go, which saved him from the nade. It's all the chaos theory that is coming in Heroes 2.
By the way, full credit to Elpern for the use of this Sherman. I know he's just given up the game, but wow, he's playing that very well. GG, though. It's going to be Luvnest that takes game 1. Well played.
And there we have it. There's game 1 of the World Championships. Luvnest takes the lead in this best of 3 contest.
Elpern there had an amazing start to that game. No denying it. I think actually Luvnest was on the run for the start of that game, but this is why Luvnest is the player he is. He can come back from those kinds of situations. You have to keep the pace up. You have to make sure that you continue that snowballing effect. Luvnest just just shows you such good shape at the moment.
He is, certainly. Just to show everybody the brackets and show their possible paths in round 2 of this tournament, in this double elimination tournament. Both players will have a next match, of course. Let's bring up the tournament brackets now. Was game 1. As you see, we're in U5 here, upper game 5, featuring seed 2 and seed 15. If we follow that through, upper 5 will face the winner of upper 6, which is Devem Asher Blah. And it's very much the same situation on the lower bracket as well. If you show the losers of U5 and U6, they will face one another. So we have a little bit of a cage match, a tag team cage match. And I'm Jim Ross and you're Jerry the King Lawler, because all 4 of these players will be flipping and reversing and facing one another in the upper and lower bracket respectively. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, when you actually look at it, the quarterfinals have the potential to just be some really, really good series. Actually, when you look at the 7 and 8 going off against each other, potentially, and I'm only saying potentially at this point, Isildur and Von Ivan, that would be a rematch from your
Yes.
could be a rematch from your Chaos Krieg. I'm sure there's some tension there.
There should be. But we've also possibly got just to clarify this, guys. I may have spoke at length there, and I know it's difficult to listen sometimes when we're going on it, so I'll just take a pause. Luvnest versus Devem could be a possibility. Stern Panther has not capitalized the M on Devem. Stern Panther, if you're listening, sorry, but this is going to go on your performance review as top referee. I'm joking, of course. It was probably me. But indeed, Devem versus Luvnest would be a direct rematch of the first World Championship tournament Luvnest ever won at Grand Championship Series 1 back in 2017. Famously played live. Oh, we have a very first result there. The referees are working overtime. Isildur is already through against Orange Pest. Orange Pest is going down to the lower bracket, where he'll face the loser of Von Ivan Seeking.
That is quick. That is, 2 games played in half an hour. That is incredible. I mean, we haven't got round to seeing Isildur yet, but we obviously know. And Isildur's been building this up for a year and a half, right? When he just seemed to pop out of nowhere. It's okay, he's suddenly really good at 1v1. That then became consistent. And then, I just watching him recently in the Master League, you just think, wow, he's the player to watch. Absolutely. So, Orange Pest gonna have to pick himself up for the next series.
Certainly is. And I just tagged the Master League itself there, but what the Master League started out with was a list of tournaments. So I'm just going to take you to that list right now. We will be going into game 2 as the overlay shows you. But there we go. Let's double click it and have a look. The first tournament Isildur ever won was back in June 2019. After that point, after World Championship 2019, he went on a hiatus and he was not seen of for a very long time. But I'm going to give somebody a shout out today. The first player to ever tell me that Isildur will be a future world champion and you have to watch him is Von Aston. Back in about March of last year, he said, basically, Isildur's kicking his ass. And this guy's on a different level. And I didn't believe it, but then certainly he won the 1v1 Elite Showdown back then. And lo and behold, around a year later, Stormless, he suddenly re-emerges. And without a single bit of losing any pace or any timing, he's straight back into things, and he wins the third Master League tournament over a year later. So credit to him. That's he certainly is one player to watch, and we will be watching him very closely in this event.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to think. Actually, the first time I saw Isildur's epic 1v1 performance was King of the Hill. I think actually he was playing against Nagano. Nagano was on like a 7 or 9 streak or something. And then Isildur came in playing Brits, and it was like watching the AI extreme that Relic never developed. Like just hands down beat one of the game's top players like horrendously. I mean, like, it was beautiful to watch. Beautiful. It was
savage
clockwork.
beating. That reminds
Yeah.
me.
But,
Reminds me of my school days. Indeed. Let's get on with things though. I'm sure the game's probably live. Indeed, we've got 3 minutes, and Stormless and I will be going away for those 3 minutes and having a quick drink, and we'll be right back into the game live as it happens. So we'll see you in a second. Thank you. Just doing lip sync test, guys. Hang on, just a quick lip sync test. Stormless, would you do some claps for me, please?
some claps. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game 2 of this series between two amazing 1v1 players. Having taken Game 1 quite confidently, playing as the Soviet Union, it is Luvnest.
Rabiet. And playing as the Wehrmacht from the east, so maybe we'll call them the Ost here. It is indeed Elpern, the vanquisher of Luvnest from the last Master League tournament he played in, the Commander Terminator. He is going as the reason for that tournament was created. We created a tournament to basically, Dan, get rid of as many commanders as possible and just leave the players with non-meta commanders. And it was the Blight, that is Ostrupen. But let's take a step back, and I'm going to introduce these guys as basically a Co-1 throwback, Dan. Do you remember how you had Volksgrenadiers from Tier 1 Wehrmacht quarters?
Oh, yes.
That's how the Ostrupen work, quite frankly. They're like a low-level infantry unit that's great for reinforcing and just giving you that stability to get your MG into good positions and that capping potential. And it's very old-school gameplay for Wehrmacht. And I know a lot of people watching top-level play, they know like Wehrmacht has 22 commanders. So it's not great just seeing the same two over and over again. But the actual gameplay itself isn't that bad.
By the way, just right at the start of this, Elpern, of course, locked the commander down. Luvnest hasn't yet. I think wait to see the Ostrupen. Elpern is playing these not so aggressively at the moment. But I suspect we might see defensive tactics here from Luvnest. I suspect, perhaps. The M42 AT gun is very good at the moment in helping out with the Tier 2 rush. And also, you know, maybe want to see those... you're going to go for the conscript build, and you're not going to build a tier, then maybe you want to get some machine guns out quickly. If that is going to happen, though, he needs to start getting into some engagements.
Yes.
Building up the CP pretty quickly.
I've heard that engagements are useful in a battle. But also, from my 4 versus 4 experience, I think that defensive has tank traps, which means he can write his name in his base sector. So that's one to watch as well from this top-level, elite-level competitor in a World Championship tournament. Conscripts find the Ostrupen, push them away. They take refuge in the grain silo.
Enemy forces are
Elevator
securing
rather,
our territory.
Inside,
Another interesting fact, it's one of the few factions that has cheap enough mines for you to write your name in mines in your base.
Oh,
You've also got that available to you.
nice
Fun fact.
bit of bobbed. Tried to give it some dead air afterwards. Nice bit of barbed wire. Moving on swiftly. Nice bit of barbed wire coming down here for Elpern. He's just trying to sprawl over the map, which Ostrupen are great at. Sprawling, just like me after a long day at work on the bed. And indeed, the combat engineers of Luvnest are going tooth and nail. Those 4 men from the Ostfront.
It's quite interesting, actually, because the Ostrupen, really, I think they probably wanted to get up the map. Oh, by the way, South Fuel, this is really tragic. One Ostrupen in the capping zone died, and the point went back down to the uncapped. Which is just really, really sad. But the Ostrupen didn't go up the map. They didn't get the green cover positions that they needed to and sit there. And now we're looking at early game of Ostrupen, which is just in pieces already.
It is. It is, and good work by Luvnest there. Nice flank from the conscripts. Obviously, the Mosin Nagant accuracy on the move isn't the best, but the intention was there. Flamethrower pops as well. We've seen a lot of merging with this flamethrower, keeping it as basically the arrow head of his attack from now on. He'll always have it as the point guard. The MG42 is going to be working overtime to suppress it.
The MG42 is I think, just like the glue that holds this strategy together. You have to be able to, you know, suppress these squads, make the Ostrupen really, really effective. This is dangerous, though. There's no healing for these Ostrupen. A lot of them are low health at the start. Yes, they're cheap and quick to reinforce, but there's no map control. And actually, you look at Luvnest, I mean, this is only going to get worse. He started laying mines. He had a bulletin for faster mines. We know there's going to be mines everywhere. It's a really tough start for Elpern.
Genuinely, the only way to cast Luvnest playing at this kind of level of efficiency is a half-time speed. Because I promise you, there's enough detail and fleet-footedness, quick thought, and good positioning to write books. Well, not write books, that's actually too much of an exaggeration. But to write a small novelette. you know, he's very, very good. And there is a lot happening that we as two casters, even as veterans of the casting scene, we can't quite cover it all because Luvnest, when he's on peak performance, he just manhandles you in ways you don't even see it coming. He's just positioning-wise, timing-wise, and also just that versatility of movement. It's just excellent.
This, I think, by the way, is a mistake from Elpern playing Ostrupen because, you know, we were talking about the top players in this game, like so many of them have been playing in private and building the counters to these strategies. Do you know what I mean? So actually, we look at Luvnest playing conscripts and we're like, yes, we're going to see many conscripts. But actually, I mean, watch and learn. Luvnest is a meta setter, you know, he's
Meta setter, I like it.
meta setter.
That's a new one. That's gonna stick, I'm sure. He has indeed set a lot of the meta. Alpha has a lot of players with one Ivan helping hands. A lot of these venerable old studs. And here it is. However, this could put a fly in the ointment, or indeed a lot of burning hot fuel in your face. The 251 is becoming a burning hot half track.
I don't like it, actually. I think those munitions, I mean, having a look at what Luvnest has been doing, probably would be better on Minesweepers, on the Pioneers. But let's see how it goes. Defensive tactics picked by Luvnest. We knew that the M42 AP gun was going to come out because this is how the current counter is being built.
Yeah, and he's going to want two of them most likely, and they're just so quick to set up and traverse as well. Against light armor, there's probably not a better combo in the game from AT guns.
Are ready to deploy. The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
No, I actually, it's you know, Elpern has to make good use of the time he's got now. I love that he's decapped. He's not gone straight to the fuel. He's gone to decap the fuel from his opponent because he doesn't want any of those resource sectors going in and contributing. But Luvnest already getting that T70 built. It's going to be about just under 8 minutes when that comes in.
Just under, that's good timing. 8.5 minutes is probably average for auto match at the moment. Luvnest showing what you can do when you have better map control and exert more pressure on your opponents in the early game. Get one in just under 8 minutes.
Enemy has broken our supply lines.
Mine detonated for the MG in the south. That's vulnerable now. I wonder if the T70. No, it's coming through the northern entrance, so it's most likely going to go after the 251. Have you been on Telewatch, Stormus? I predict there shouldn't be any because we've had the flamethrower upgrade.
I think all of his munitions have just gone straight into that. I will just check it quickly just to see. There are no telemines at all in the field, so...
There we go, free reign for the T70, little pyramid of destruction. Weapon
Luvnest is scouting currently. He's sending those engineers with the Minesweeper in straight away. You know, the T70 here doesn't have to be too aggressive, although I think Luvnest knows. I think he knows what his opponent's resource situation is like. This is beautiful play.
And there's Panzer Grenadiers as well, but they are getting the Panzer Streks. He's going to try and delay for them here. This is unexpected. So he's reversing back to base and retreating, hoping the T-70 follows him. He's going to try and get a Faust in now as well. The T-70 could be isolating himself, but no, he's going to go in. This is aggressive from Luvnest. This could be an Admiral Akbar trap. We've just had a squad wipe from the T-70, and he gets away. No Faust in. Panzer Grenadiers pursue. Do they have enough health? They'll get one-shotted if they're not careful, Stormless.
This is interesting. I'm not sure that it was worth T-70 dive there. Great timing though by Elpern with these Panzer Streks. One misses. This is the downside of using Panzer Grenadiers as a mobile AT platform.
Oh, but the second salvo does not miss. T-70 taken out of commission. For the death of a Pioneer, he got a T-70 out of that. A misplay by Luvnest between two minds and two thoughts, and he ends up with no results.
No matter how you look at it, that was a misplay by Luvnest. He's not going to be happy with that. But Elpern, fully in the base right now. Full map control is about to go to Luvnest. Double fuel is about to come in from Luvnest. You know, he's going to be able to rebuild. I think he probably will rebuild the T-70. I think he probably wants that recon. But it's not the end of the world for him. Also, Dushka now on the field, so here come the suppression platforms for Elpern's off-recon.
Just got the Argos catalogue. If you're a UK resident, Argos catalogues come out, and if you flip to the kids section, toy section, the makers of Hungry Hippos are bringing us this year greedy Love Nests. That's pretty much why we've equalised in this game as well now, because Elpern is going to be able to push out a little bit more. He's got a good stable platform. The only thing he's possibly lacking, Stormless, is anti-infantry. So the 251 is pretty much his sole implement of infantry crowd control.
Yeah, it's difficult. Ostrupen are not the best flanking units in the world.
The bunker is now a field
And I think
hospital.
actually you normally see this build with the scout car for the reason that maybe you can at least plan those flanks. And that isn't going to happen right now. The Ostrupen are just going to be running into the fog of war. They are the frontline units. It's going to be really, really hard.
Don't forget as well, Dan, he's actually got less Sturmgewehrs, of course, on the Panzergrenadiers. He's got 2, in fact. And that means that they're obviously a tank buster now rather than an anti-infantry platform. Dushka sets up in the face of the Austrian. Literally does not care.
I mean, there's so little to fear here. That T-70's coming back up for Luvnest.
Very simple algorithm that dictates whether or not you should build a T-70 for the Soviets. Basically, if you don't have one on the field, build one. It does not matter what time of the game it is. You can be 1 hour and 20 minutes into a Longer's epic, and a T-70 is still a useful thing to have. But certainly rebuild one if the first one dies, because if you're a good player, you can get excellent use out of it at any point in the game.
If you're watching this game on replay and you skip to this point and you're seeing a T-70 out at 11 minutes 30, it's, you're wrong. Luvnest wasn't that late. This is the second one he's built.
Yes, indeed. And 251 is stricken. I predict the Pack 40 should be repositioning sometime soon. Maybe Elpern will hear it in the fog of war. Oh no, it's gone north, just like last time actually. I expected it south and it went north.
I think the T-70, by the way, could take these Panzer Grenadiers.
Yeah,
I think the Panzer Grenadiers are being a bit bold if they're actually going to go and...
T-70 could probably take Panzer Grenadiers if they have 4 men wide in the open. If you're a good player, you can push them around and you can stop them setting to fire the Panzer strikes.
Grenadiers standing by.
They are... there's the second Panzer Grenadier. I expected this. He didn't have enough anti-infantry, so he's had to get something that actually kills soldiers, which again is very useful in a combat situation, I've heard.
Luvnest
Company Heroes is
has,
missing, Storm. Sorry to be a bit off meta here, but horses. There's no horses in Company Heroes.
do you know what? I mean, there's no live horses. I can show you some dead
You
ones
can use them as
later.
cover. I don't want to see your catalogue of
get to
dead
the next-
horses. You keep that to yourself. But
I'll be
T-70's
telling you
got
where they
all-
are on the next map.
Oh wow! Just had a tripwire flares, a
Our
Luvnest
sector.
vintage move there, of course popularising the use of tripwire flares, and I am not exaggerating, that literally is the case.
The sector has been cut
There's
off.
no reason not to use tripwire flares once you hit that Vet 1 on conscripts. They got them on the northern fuel point as well. And, you know, recon's so important. The fact that it wipes a model, superb. Look at these M42 AT guns, by the way, camouflaged. And that is really, really tough. If you're going to play a dominant light game, light vehicle game, you don't want your opponent to have camouflaged AT guns. That's going to make things really hard. So, you know, I think this is a really tough game for Elpern to come back from.
You just rolled over a mine, by the way, which is very dangerous when you've got an 18 gun firing on, even if your minesweepers have got it covered, because it can still detonate, of course. Elpern's pegged back. Luvnest's got him down to 357 victory points. Let's have a quick look at the stats. We didn't have time to do this in the last game. Go down to half-time speed, see what we can see. See on the army values. It's roughly equal on points held, however, you can see Luvnest has an authoritative lead. Ah, nice minesweeping with Panzerschrecks. Very expensive use of shape-charged warheads there.
You can tell, you know, Luvnest was just expecting, light vehicles to dominate this game. You know? Even just having mines everywhere, you know,
Oh, there we go. Gets him with, this is the Dushka, I think, there. Indeed, he used armor-piercing rounds on the Dushka to weaken him, and then the T-70 got the kill on the 251. Panzer Grenadiers have been minesweeping like Pac-Man. They are forced away finally, though.
yeah, it's beautiful. This is a real textbook Good game by Luvnest.
It shed wheels like a Tiberian Sun disc thrower when it blows up, does the 251, all over the bloody place. To use another RTS reference. And it's a double fuel situation for Luvnest now, so he should. I'm hoping to see Tech 4,
Enemy is
or
taking
Tier
our
4 in
territory.
base. He's building it, is he? Fair enough.
You do see it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. It's Elpern that's building Tier 3, sorry. I need to do the old shuffle to get over to his side of the player god.
I mean, really, how do you come back? But look at Luvnest right now on the top left. Everything is building something. Like every
Yes.
single thing
Ridiculous.
is building something right now. Luvnest is just like hotkeys everywhere, and he's microing the T-70 to try and deal with the Panzer Grenadiers. You know, but this is.
Oh, we've had a mine go off as well. Panzer Grenadiers getting hit in the north. There's just efficiency everywhere from Luvnest. Everything is just dying a little bit from Elpern. It's death by 1,000 cuts. One of those cuts is, of course, the tripwire flares, which has already planted one of around here. You can see it there, actually. There's just more to come.
I think we're seeing an Ostwind in build from Elpern. It's a very interesting choice.
Yeah,
I'm guessing maybe this is the Minesweeper. I think.
The enemy still has 300
I think this is the Minesweeper.
Well, we said he needed more anti-infantry, but now has he got enough anti-tank? Because we've got T-34-76 mil building. He does have the Panzer Shreks. There's the tripwire flare. He cleared that the easy way with Ostrooper, which you can always count on to clear mines and tripwire
Another
flares.
Panzer has arrived.
I really hope with this Ostwind that maybe, you know, he can jump on top of one of the M42s and maybe decrew it. Use it against Luvnest.
I like it when a player's down on his luck and we start sounding quite childlike in our fantasies for wanting him. Yeah, what if he could just jump on top of him with the Ostwind and then get 5 more and come from the sides? No, son, that's not going to happen. This is Luvnest we're talking about. It's going to be a slow, brutal death.
It's like watching a wildlife program. Like, but what if the elephant jumped in to help? No.
No, son. The lions will just hang on to his back until he dies of blood loss. Here we go, the Ostwind's entered a peril already, almost to put the point on our exclamation mark. The T-34 goes in, and all of the ambulance, because this fight is well and truly looking over. He's evading the Pack-40. He has been fousted,
One of our
however.
Panzers has been destroyed.
By the way, look at this in the south. Tripwire flare goes up. Dishka's there. Luvnest on it immediately. Just ready. You know, whilst everything else is going on in the north. We're about to see conscripts down from
We have
Elpern.
lost a squad.
I'm
Did he just
expecting-
absolutely destroy the Ostrooper with the T-34 with one shot in the north? I can see 4 crawlers, so aircraft investigation skills tell me that is indeed what just happened.
Now, I would pose a question. I actually don't know the answer to this. If it's been fousted and it moves slower, is its accuracy better?
No. I think it's got a binary state. It's either got on-the-move accuracy or it doesn't.
Again, that would be amazing.
It would be amazing, but then that kind of twisted Tootsie mechanized play with the the step on it ability, the vehicles would never kill anything, would they? But they could drive around at 200 miles per hour, just killing everything. So, pretty sure that's not the case. Write this down for if Relic ever do make coming here as 9 in space. We want on-the-move accuracy to be a sliding scale.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
finally,
And we should
side
also
on.
account for wind factor. You know, if there's blizzards, then the turrets should turn slower because everyone's got cold hands.
I remember there's a game like Men of War, which is basically exactly what we're describing. It accounted for shoelaces being tied on individual models of soldiers, that kind of thing. Regardless, the reason we stopped hype casting this one is because it does indeed look like Mission Impossible for Elpern, because Luvnest is very much on form today. So we can just have some fun watching one of the greatest RTS games of all time, and making good entertainment of it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. We had actually very high hopes for this series because Elpern did beat Luvnest it was a couple of months ago in the Master League. So we were really hoping that actually Elpern, we would catch this amazing moment where we just see, you know, one of the game's best players, you know, destroyed
We've been
in
here
an
before,
opening
though,
round.
haven't we, Stormless? Remember, in GCS1 we cast Luvnest versus Farhu in a best of 5.
That's when they made that change to Fallschirmjäger, and Farhu didn't realise, and he tried to pull them out the building,
On
and they all
Angerville.
died on the roof.
Yeah, he dropped them onto the church of
remember.
Angerville.
Someone dig up that clip.
It's amazing. Because we were trying to, like, talk about, yeah, he's a good, solid 2v2 player, and he streams a lot, it's going to be fine. Nah, it's Fellshire because I'm landing on the roof of a church. It's amazing how many fans in chat, like, remember what we're on about. It's not like we're just completely circle jerking and we're chatting, only you and I know these references. Everybody knows what we're on about. It's quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
We're all growing old together as well. We're all like in our 30s now. Nobody's new to the... No, they are, probably are. Hands up if you're new. I want to hear from new people for once, if you can.
Hey, if I could just take a second to bring it back down to Earth.
Okay.
Unlike that tripwire flare. Obviously people want to know why Ostrupen have just been treated this way in a 1v1. And, let's just talk about how clever this has been. Luvnest, I mean, I can tell you I kind of expected defensive tactics because I've been observing some games, maybe some people haven't, and seeing some other things. But, I mean, this is really good because you can play the opening conscript build. You don't have to tech, your tier 1 and 2 immediately. The M42 AP gun is very effective against light vehicles. You call it on, it's a very low thought process. And the mines are also key. The fact that you can lay cheap mines, the fact that you see others laying mines everywhere, it tries to get over the Ostrupen quick reinforce, cheap reinforce by just constantly harassing manpower, like constantly threatening map control, because you've always got a mine sweep. And that's the beauty of this command.
Panzer IV's come on, Stormless. He's gone straight in. Sorry to interrupt your point there, but I thought he was in a dire position for a second because he went past the T-34. Luvnest did not pull the trigger, however, and could have actually gone around the rear armor. Elpern has one more chance to make it in the upper bracket before he's condemned to the lower bracket. He does indeed take out a T-34. Panzer IV is wiping the smiles off anybody's faces that were ready to go and put the kettle on and make a cup of tea. Because he does not want to lose to Luvnest. He's now trying to take out the Vet 2 combat engineers. However, he's been shot in the face by this indeed a Ziz divisional field gun. He gets hit by the M2 and a mine takes him out. So
that looked so promising for a moment. We dared to dream. And unfortunately disappointed. What an attempt, though. You just see these mines going off everywhere. You had to be expecting that when you look at Luvnest's bulletins. He was giving the game away before the game loaded in.
I dreamed a day and days gone by when my Panzer IV was still living. Indeed, Elpern certainly isn't anymore. T-70's now gone in, sensing and smelling blood. Also got the Zis gun backing him up. Maybe he can go for a cheeky barrage. Oh, T-70 indeed taken out. To tell you what, he's gotten 2 tank kills in as many minutes. He may have lost one of his own. I suppose the more worrying picture here is bundle aid on conscript on retreat. But no, what I was going to say is the victory point situation down. He's 89 and dropping.
Yeah, this is not going to go anywhere. Elpern knows it. And again, GG, Luvnest taking the series. Well played, both players.
GG, well played. Luvnest goes into round 2 to face the winner of Dev M, Asher Blah. And we're back. What an exciting start to Game 2 we saw. But when Luvnest got going, all this excitement ebbed away and then dread came in its stay because Elpern, he was fighting an uphill battle from around the 10-minute mark onward.
Absolutely, yeah. And whilst in Game 1, Elpern had a fantastic start and we were all looking for that. Game 2, not so much. Like we said in the game, players have been scrimming, they've been building counter strategies to the current auto match meta for a long time, and I think you just saw how effective that personal training has been, and that is why Luvnest, we always say, is just such a good player. This is a tournament of surprises, and there's your first surprise. I can't wait to see what's next. And you just talked a little bit at the end of that game about, Luvnest will be against the winner of the Devem Ashabla series.
Yes.
Well, we have a dream series there, really.
Oh my.
Because Devem was the winner of that series. That's just been updated on the brackets, and that means Luvnest and Devem in the quarterfinals. Insane matchup, really. I don't know if you want to look at the brackets, Ian.
Oh, we're looking at them right now, Stormers. Don't you worry, my friend. We do indeed have our first match of round 2 ready.